Hey, it's Carrington from Real Dudes Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to another fantastic episode of Crossplay Compatible. With me, I've got, as always, Roger.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show.
And how are you today, Roger?
I am well. I'm very excited because we have more people joining us.
Yes.
From the Crossplay Compatible Network.
Oh, yeah. So, the other two guests we have, how about you guys introduce yourselves and your podcast to our guests?
Hey, everybody. This is Mike with the Controller Throwers Podcast, part of the Crossplay Compatible Network. So thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited for this.
And I'm Chris from Play Comics, and I'm excited to be here as well. You stole my line.
Everyone's excited. Let's do this. I'm so pumped. And we also have, they're not on the show, but we have other podcasts as well. Hopefully they'll come on sometime soon.
Yeah. So this is going to be, the format here is going to be just an open invitation. We're going to try to do these Sunday nights, but then come out Monday, hopefully. and then, yeah, so there'll be different people on the show. So, all right, I do have an icebreaker.
Let's hear it. I'm ready.
So, with the game that we're talking about today, icebreaker is, does Carrington have his mic on? No.
It is now.
The icebreaker. What jobs? What was our first job that we had growing up, I guess? So, Carrington.
Yes. So, if you want to be like technical, my first job I had was I worked with a friend. He was a carpenter, and I helped him lay carpet, which was interesting. But if you want to count like my first job I did like consistently on a day-to-day basis, I worked for a catalog company called Frontgate, and they are a high-end outdoor furniture company. And what my job when I first started there was I would get the catalogs before they came out, and then I had to proofread them, check for grammar errors, things like that, and make sure different information or all the information that was in the catalog matched up with what was in our system. It's cool. Not as I was gonna say, it's not as cool as it sounds, trust me. It was boring and tedious and long.
Nice. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll jump in. So my first job was, I was 12, and I didn't realize how much they were ripping me off. So it was a summer job, and I was a camp counselor for our city's park district. Their summer camping program. So the parents would drop the kids off. It's 8 o'clock and come back and pick them up at about 3 o'clock. So my job was I was a camp counselor, and the reason why is because I was 12 years old, so they couldn't pay me, so they paid me cash. I got $15 a week in cash.
What?
That's it.
And that's, yes, but I was like, I'm like, all right. So I would take my cash on every Friday, and I would immediately go to the comic book store. Hey, they were $1.75 at the time, so I was able to me that was a ton. And then after it ended, I'm like, I sat back and I crunched the numbers, and I'm like, I was getting paid 50 cents an hour at this place.
Oh,
like,
my
what
God.
a ripoff! I'm like,
Wow.
this wasn't like the 1950s or anything like that. So I was like, oh gosh. So I'm like, no, I'm done with that. They're like, do you want to come back next year? I'm like, no, thank you. I appreciate it, but no.
You could have gone to McDonald's and made more.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So that was my first job. That was my first gig.
Nice.
Oh, speaking of McDonald's, actually, mine was a little bit better than that. I was at Steak and Shake and went into their overnight shift, which was kind of nice because there was like me and one cook and usually somebody else that would vary between a cook or a manager type person. But there was all kinds of weird things. Like they never told me what size chili to give people when they ordered chili. So the first time I gave somebody chili, I gave them a salad bowl full of chili.
Whoa.
And the guy looked at me like I was insane. And I was like, yeah, I know, but they never told me, so I'm going to make sure you get at least what you paid for. All kinds of things they didn't tell me.
Working the night shift, you must have the best stories. We could probably do an entire podcast of Steak and Shake late night shift stories. I'm sure you got all sorts of characters wandering in.
Yeah, we had
or
like
at
five.
least at the drive-thru.
We had like 5 Steak and Shakes in the area, so ours was the slowest one.
Oh.
So you didn't.
There were a few good stories.
Okay, so I've been to Steak and Shake late at night on several occasions, and I have some pretty good memories from both being with friends and the staff members as well.
Nice.
Just saying.
Yeah. So nothing major. No like hash slinging slasher would show up or something like that at the.
No, I mean the best was either the day that we closed down the inside of the restaurant so that we could go play air hockey at Walmart.
Oh.
Okay.
Or the day that this one guy, on the day that he quit, grabbed a stack of gift cards and ran out the front door, completely forgetting the part where you have to activate the gift cards or they're not going to do anything.
Now, would you ever try and mess with people?
I didn't. I mean, we were slow enough to where we didn't really have too many people coming in, and they were nice enough when they came in. They just wanted to eat and get left alone, and so we didn't worry about them too much.
There was one Steak and Shake I went to consistently for about 2 to 3 years, so I knew the staff there over the 2 or 3 years, and it would be late at night. And there was one time that you would try like, hey, can you just try this? We just made this up. So you never tried anything like that?
No, but they did forget to take me off the training pay, so I was getting regular minimum wage plus tips.
Oh,
so that was pretty sweet.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Nice. I can't believe none of you said Paperboy.
Nope.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my first job, actually.
Really? Like an
With
actual?
Papers, it really
Like
was.
What?
Like wake up at 4 a.m. and start rubber banding all the papers and.
Well, actually, it was weird. It was a free paper. I don't know why I got paid, but it was a free paper, and it was like 160 houses that we had to deliver to, and I was 12, and my brother was helping me, and he was 10, and I always gave him the side of the street that was the most difficult, and I always took the side that had my grandparents' house on it, so I would stop and have a soda, or hang out with my grandparents for a while. And the best part was, well, not the best part, but there was one time where my brother was getting mauled by a dog, and I'm sitting there having a cream soda with my grandparents.
Oh gosh.
Which kind of leads into the game that we're going to be talking about today, which is Paperboy.
You lived it. Yeah, you lived the game.
So, so the game came out in 1985. So we'll talk about some of the events that happened in the year 1985. So, anybody have anything that they wanted to bring up first with the year 1985?
It was a good year. A lot of good
Were you
movies.
alive in the year 1985?
I was not. I was 5 years away from being born.
My parents celebrated their first wedding anniversary.
Oh. So, Chris, you weren't born yet either?
I was not born until 86.
Oh. So I'm not the only one who wasn't born yet. It feels good. It feels good to be, that someone can relate to me on some level.
Yeah. Mike, you were born, right?
Yeah, I was born. You mean prior to 1985? Oh, I thought you just meant like in general. Yes, I do exist. Yeah, no, I was 6 in 1985. So, I gotta say, man, because my best memory of 85 was Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
And I loved Back to the Future, and I remember the first time I watched it, and I remember seeing that to be continued at the end, and I know it was only a 5-year distance between Back to the Future 1 and 2, which nowadays to me is like nothing. But when I was a kid, that was an eternity. I remember saying, what's going on? Is Back to the Future 2 even coming out? Are they even going to make it? And then all of a sudden, 5 years later, I see the commercials for it. I'm like, oh, finally. What the heck took them so long? So yes, I do remember things. Yeah.
Nice. And I was 9-ish in the year 1985. So, So some perspective here. The price of gas, a gallon of gas was $1.09 in
Gosh.
1985.
I'd take that.
Gosh.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
Another thing that we always talk about is movie tickets. The price of a movie ticket was $2.75.
I'll take that as well. I just, like I told you guys before we recorded, I saw Black Panther earlier today. It was $12, I think, for my ticket.
Yeah. A pound of bacon was $1.65.
Ooh.
I don't know why they have that. Like, that's like some measuring, like, how much was a pound of bacon in this year? A beanbag lounger, apparently that was a big thing. That was $40. And a pound of ribeye steak was $3.89.
How much?
$3.89.
Oh, I would be eating steaks all day, every day if that was the case.
With bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with bacon.
On your big beanbag lounger.
No, that thing's expensive. You can't mess it up.
Yeah. And then I don't know where this place is, Carrington. You might. Elira? Does that sound right? Ohio? Elira?
This doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. Well, it's a 2-bedroom condo. This is the cost of a two-bedroom condo overlooking the lake. Was $60,000.
60.
Yeah.
I mean, I can afford that actually.
Yeah. But the average income was $22,000 in 1985.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah.
I make more than that.
I would be rich.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So yeah. So those were some of the some cost of living in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any other events that happened in 1985?
I'm trying to go through things really quick because I forgot to do my research for this episode.
Well,
but one thing that jumps out at me is that Studio Ghibli was founded in June, and that holds a special place in my heart because I grew up on My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking up. Oh man, I'm looking up cartoons that were out in 1985. So just going through some of these shows I used to watch. So let's see. The Berenstain Bears.
Oh, yeah.
That was a cartoon. The Gummy Bears, the Disney cartoon. I still remember that theme song that's still stuck in my head to this day.
Gummy bears. No, gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
That's right. There you go. Exactly. G.I. Joe, of course.
Yeah. Oh, that's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. Man, I used to watch that every Saturday morning.
Yes.
It's a cartoon with all the old WWF providing their actual voices and everything.
Yeah. That was so cool.
Yep.
Straight over my head.
Yeah, me too. Sorry.
I don't remember a single episode. All I remember from that year is like every cartoon had a public service announcement at the end of it. Like, hey kids, don't stick a fork into the wall outlet or something like that. Let's see, Gem and the Holograms.
Oh,
that was another one. Mask. Oh man, I remember Mask. That was, it was kind of like, so it was the good guys. It was, of course, everything in 85 was in order to sell toys. That's all the cartoons were. They were half-an-hour advertisements.
Yeah.
But these were awesome. These were cars that were weaponized, and they would have secret compartments that open up, and all these laser cannons and stuff would shoot out. There was like this 57 Chevy with a rocket launcher in the trunk. It was so cool. But I remember those toys. They were awesome. Robotech was 85.
Great show.
He-Man's cousin, or it was a cousin or sister? She-Ra. Well, whatever.
Cousin, right?
Sister, cousin, whatever.
Some relation.
Yeah, some kind of relation. And of course, the Thundercats.
Oh,
Thundercats.
Nice.
So yeah, so lots of good things to do on a Saturday morning while just eating bowls of sugar.
Oh yeah, those were great cartoons. Calvin and Hobbes came out in 1985.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I had no idea.
Let's see. And then, so I was looking at some of the toys that came out in 1985, and so this is one that made me laugh when I saw this Kinder Gym. So it's like a plastic gym set. It's like dumbbells and like a bench, like a press bench. Like, like why would a kid need this? But apparently in the 80s, that was the thing to do. That was $60 to buy
$60.
Nice.
That's a little bit insane.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. And then Transformers was really big. So there was this Autobot like boombox that was really, I remember this.
Soundwave, man. Soundwave.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was $20. I mean, now it looks like I'm like $20 is not a lot, but $20 back then was a lot. So.
Wow, I didn't realize that was that much.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Man. Yeah, I remember I got Soundwave for graduating when I graduated the kindergarten into first grade.
Nice.
Yeah,
So,
that thing was cool. That was awesome.
and when you look back now, like I look at the price of toys and I think to myself, man, I can't believe my parents spent that kind of money on toys. And I mean, they bought an NES for me, and an NES at the time was $200.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
remember, an average pay was $22,000, and I think my dad was in that range. So,
Wow, that's crazy. That's like buying a PlayStation 3 nowadays for $599 US.
isn't that crazy? Yeah, that is crazy, actually.
That hurts.
So yeah.
One last thing I found scrolling, finding stuff. I'm a huge Reds fan, and love him or hate him, Pete Rose becomes the all-time leader in September of 1985 with 4,192 hits at Riverfront Stadium.
Wow.
Nice.
Crazy.
He still frequents Reds games quite often. I see him from time to time down there.
Really?
Oh yeah, he attends Reds games all the time.
And you see him?
Yeah.
Like in person?
Yeah.
Oh, you say, "Hey, Pete Rose"?
Oh no, he doesn't like to be bothered. So I've heard, there are horror stories. So I just like, oh look, there's Pete Rose, and then I can see you watching the game.
Yeah. The top 5 movies, highest grossing movies of '85. Number 5 was Out of Africa. Number 4 was The Color Purple.
Good movie.
Number 3 was Rocky IV. Starring. Yep. Number 2 was Rambo: First Blood Part 2. And number 1 we touched on was Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A worthy
It
winner.
made $210 million.
Wow.
That seems like
That's-
really low by now.
That does.
today's standards.
Today's standards.
That's a budget for today's movies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Budget for Super Bowl ad in today's.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So something else that I thought was interesting in 1985. So Coca-Cola comes out with new Coke, and 6 months later they went back to the original formula and they called it Coca-Cola Classic, and that name I think still is on the side of the cans. It's Coca-Cola Classic.
I think it is. Yeah.
So I kind of remember new Coke. I kind of remember them trying that and everybody saying, "This is terrible. What is this?"
That's the power of marketing. That's what that is.
Yeah. Or a lack of.
Oh yeah, that too.
And then Michael Jackson buys every Beatles song for $47 million.
I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. I mean, after he died, that was the first thing I thought of. What happens to all the Beatles songs?
I know, right? $47 million though, that seems really
That's
cheap.
really, really low.
It's a good investment.
Yeah.
Real.
I mean, yeah, I would have bought that if I had $47 million.
It's just laying around.
Just
Yeah.
laying around.
I think speaks a testament to Harmonix for being able. I don't know how in the world they got the rights to make the Beatles rock band, but I think just hats off to them for the licensing for that, because I know it had to be a nightmare.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I saw too was that the song "We Are the World" came out in 1985.
Nice.
Great song.
Yeah. So
Still
those
applies
were
today. Yeah. Some good times. 1985 seems like a fantastic year, actually.
It was awesome.
and
was a good
CDs
time to
actually
be a kid.
were introduced in 1985.
Ooh.
Gosh. Wonder how much the first CD player was back then.
Yeah.
$37 million.
Yeah.
Well, one time I think Carrington, we looked up. I don't remember what year it was. It was around this time, but it was a video phone, and it was like $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it was around this time. Like 86, I think, was the year.
Yeah, that's crazy. And now to think that everybody's phone has some way of doing some kind of Skype or something.
Yet, how often do we use it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was 1985. Chris, did you see anything else?
No, I think we hit all the big things. Just kind of leaving the video game stuff for the end. So if there's anything else that anybody noticed from 85.
No, I didn't see anything. Like I said, I had to do like a quick check, and I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have something. ATI Technologies was founded in 1985. So all of you AMD processing / graphics card loving people like me, all that stuff started in 1985.
Crazy. And actually, the first .com was in 1985 as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. .edus still were the norm back then, apparently, but the first .com was in 1985. So by Symbolics Corporation. I don't even know what that is.
Doesn't sound familiar.
All right,
That's all I got.
Should we move on to the games that came out in 1985?
Sure.
I think we should.
All right.
Because I feel like, once again, 1985 was a fantastic year.
Oh my gosh. It was an amazing year. Chris, do you want to start us off?
Well, some would say it was the best year because you had the savior of the video game market, everything over here in North America, the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Coming complete with the option of having a toy robot, so in case the video games failed, you still had a toy robot.
As in Rob?
Yes, as in Rob.
Do you remember anybody having one? My uncle did.
So one of the kids I went to school with, he had it, and they played. I would just watch them play Gyromite and watch that robot, watch Rob just like spin around and grab the discs and just drop them. It was really cool to watch. I had no idea how sophisticated, quote unquote, that was. But yeah, it was really cool to see.
Wasn't the idea that if you didn't have friends, you had Rob at least, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely. I think there were only 2 games that Rob worked with. I know one was Gyromite, but I forgot what the other one was. Stack Up. Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
And I've never played either of those games.
You're not missing much.
That was quick. I was going to say, growing up, I had no idea Rob even existed until Super Smash Brothers, I think it was in Brawl, was his first appearance.
Yep.
Yeah, I had no idea who Rob was until Brawl came out, yeah.
Have you ever seen one in the wild?
No, I've never seen one.
Okay, Carrington.
They're really cool.
They are.
They
really
look cool.
They're awesome. They are awesome.
And,
I mean, I've seen them on
if you
the
ever come
internet and
visit
stuff, but never.
Carrington,
Yeah?
they have one at Jake's store.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. I would love to see one in person.
What's it priced at now?
I don't think that one's for sale. Actually, he won't sell it. So.
Yeah, I can
Good
see
for
that.
him. Good for him.
Yeah, but it is pretty funny because it just sits there collecting dust.
That is a collector's item now.
$80 looks like.
Oh,
70, between 50 and 70, I think.
Not
Actually,
too
so
bad.
that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I'll
You know
take it.
I'd take it. Even if it wasn't fully functional, just to have it as like a conversation piece.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go up to like our, we have this landing and stuff. We've got our wedding photos. It's my wife and I, so I'll just throw all those off and just put Rob right on top. Honey, would you see where the wedding photos are? No, but have you checked out the robot? Pretty badass.
Now, this is kind of a personal question. Do you have kids?
Yes, I have one kid.
Okay, you could be like, well, back in my day, we had a robot.
We've had those history lessons. I've hooked up.
Okay.
Yeah, I've hooked up the NES. He was supposed to do some chores and he never did. So I punished him by putting on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES.
Nice.
I'm like, now you play this game for an hour. He never made that mistake again.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Me neither.
The game was bad.
like-
Well, something I noticed, I'm not going to talk about video games, but I'm going to talk about video game companies that had a huge impact on probably all of our lives in one way or another that were founded in 1985.
Ooh.
And in no particular order, by the way. First, we have Bethesda was founded in 85.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think the first Elder Scrolls had come out. I don't think that was their first game. No, it was Wayne Gretzky Hockey. That was their first game.
Wow.
And Elder Scrolls did not come out until 94, so it would be a little while before they were like actually on the map. Next we have Codemasters, which I love Codemasters. They make some fantastic games. I grew up playing MTV Music Maker, which they had that series, but now they are known for the Formula One series, the F1 series, as well as Operation Flashpoint. Probably some of the most realistic games you will probably ever play if you've never played them before.
Wow.
Especially Operation Flashpoint. As a military squad-based shooter, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow.
Square was founded in 1985. If you guys don't know, they have this little series called Final Fantasy, as well as Kingdom Hearts. They were founded in 1985. And
Wow.
then last but not least, near and dear to my heart, may they rest in peace, Westwood Studios, known for the Command & Conquer series.
Yeah. You mentioned those before. You mentioned that company before.
Those games, I cannot tell you how much fun me and my brother would have watching my dad play Command & Conquer late at night. That would be our thing. Dad came home, eat dinner, go down in the basement, watch Dad play Command & Conquer until we had to go to bed. And there would be times where my dad would we would be asleep, and then he would wake us up guys, I'm about to finish this level. You know that level I've been stuck on for a couple days? He would wake us up, and we'd go down in the basement. He'd finish it, then we watch the cutscene, then go to bed.
Wow.
Nice.
Some great
That's
memories
awesome.
of Command & Conquer. And he did that for, I think we played all of them up until Tiberium Sun, which that came out in the early 2000s.
Wow. Oh, wow.
A lot of people prefer StarCraft, but I grew up with Command & Conquer, but that's just me.
So looking at some of these other games that came out in 1985, so I don't know. I'm just surprised at some of these games. Let's see. Well, Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, obviously. But Ultima IV came out in 1985.
If that's what the press release says.
Yeah.
So there was 3 Ultimas before that one.
I guess so. I know
Nice.
Ultima 4 is supposed to be the big one, right? The one that's most popular. I'm just assuming. That's just the one.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think so.
And then Oregon Trail came out in 1985 too. Do you guys see that?
Classic.
We got in so many fights in school over that game.
That game was awesome. I was at Target today, and they actually re-released a handheld Oregon Trail it looks like an old school PC. It's got the it's got the fake disk drive with the little door that you pull down, all the keys look like they are part of a keyboard. And so I think it's $25, but if you have a Target near you, check it out. They've got a fully functional, portable Oregon Trail.
Wow,
That's cool.
Impressive.
that is cool.
Most impressive.
We'll check that out.
I did not play the original until I got much older. I grew up on Oregon Trail 2. that was popular in the schools by the time I was in school. But Oregon Trail is still a classic to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody died of dysentery.
All
Yep.
the time.
All the time.
Even in Oregon Trail 2. That's what it always is.
Nice.
And I was looking up, there is a remake of it that came out in 2011 on the Wii. But I probably wouldn't recommend it because I'm looking at reviews and it has, GameSpot gave it a 3 out of 10. Lets you know how that remake was.
All right.
And went, yeah.
At one point, it was fairly collectible, though. I don't know if that's still the case.
Oh.
Just one of those cases where a shovelware title doesn't sell very much, and eventually people who want to get a complete set just have to get it, and it's not around in the stores.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. You can get it for about $60 now. So good luck with that if you really want to have it in your collection.
Nice.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Gosh, I can't talk today. That came out in 1985.
The show or is there a game?
There's a
no,
game.
it's a game.
Oh.
Yeah. The show was based on the game.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
By I still can't pronounce it. Broder Bund Software, I think was oh man, I remember that just answering all the questions and then hearing the siren, the police car siren as they chase Carmen if you're finding her in the right spot. I used to play that game nonstop on my computer.
Wow.
That was a lot of fun.
Huh. Yeah, so that game came out in 1985.
Gauntlet came out in 1985.
Yeah.
Oh, now
Nice.
that game is also I remember playing that. I had the NES version growing up, and that game was amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was a good game.
Kurt on our show, on our podcast, that's his game. Like whenever we go to the arcade, that he makes a beeline straight for Gauntlet.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was a really fun game.
And you also had Ghosts and Goblins.
And that game was really hard.
That game, I got that. So when I got my NES for Christmas, my parents bought me Ghosts and Goblins, and I can't tell you how many times I played that game and how many times I could never get past like the second stage. But I kept trying, because there was, I only had like 3 games, so.
But that's one of those
game
ones that's hard as heck, but it's fair and it's well made, so you don't really can't get too mad at it.
Yeah. You can. I did. No, I agree with you. But I got so mad just fighting. Just when you get up to Firebrand and that first level, the flying red demon, just like how he swoops down, it's just there's nothing I can do. The only way I was able to do any good is if I was lucky and I was able to get the throwing knives instead of the javelins or the spears. That to me then I had a fighting chance. But still, it was almost impossible. I can't believe there were people who were out there who were able to beat it twice to get the real ending.
Yeah, that's
So
the
crazy.
insane part to me.
Yeah.
So, small question. Like now that's a game that's pretty heavily ran in the speedrunning circuit. So how does it make you feel when people out there that can just beat it in I don't know what the record is, but let's just say an hour or so.
That makes me just feel terrible about my skills even back then.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
The game Commando came out in 1985,
Ayo.
which is the prequel to Bionic Commando. Bionic Commando.
Oh.
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah. Both games are very hard.
Let me jump back for a second. I just quickly looked up a speedruns for Ghosts and Goblins.
Mm-hmm.
2145.
Holy cow.
For no
I gotta
gas.
watch that. Yeah, that's they got to be using a Game Genie or something.
Speedrunning stuff, though, they get real particular
Intense.
about their rules, too.
Oh yeah.
So you got to do it, original hardware most of the time and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I see another one that's under 21 minutes. I see one that's under 60 seconds. They got to glitch that somehow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh gosh. Now I have to watch it. I gotta watch it.
I got to see how it's done.
The game Sky Kid came out in 1985 as well, which I just got the Namco Museum on the Switch today, and it comes with Sky Kid. So,
Oh.
Nice.
Yes, it does.
which is not a great game, but
I was to say I've never heard of Sky Kid before.
Oh,
it's like 1980 or what? What was that? 1943, kind of like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fly it around and you bomb things. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like a very popular thing back then. Shooters.
Is this what caused kids to become violent?
Yeah. Because 1985, it was a time when I don't know, kids were influenced by comic books and video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Animals.
It was before your time, Carrington.
Barely.
Any other games that stuck out to anybody?
Not really.
No,
Not
yeah,
really.
you hit on all
No.
the major ones. Yeah.
Yeah, because like you guys said earlier, like Super Mario Brothers, when that came out with the NES, that like saved gaming. So this was it was a good year for gaming in the sense that, a lot of classics came out that year, but not a lot of games were being made just yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's take a break here. And then when we come back, we'll talk about the game that we're highlighting this episode, which is Paperboy. Stay tuned.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, hey, maybe I should see what this Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage because you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode, I take a look at video games based on comic book properties and how well they stick to that source material. So, whether you know the comics and want to actually learn how these games work, or know the games and want to know what the hell is going on, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com, the Brain Trust Bros Network, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Hey, it's Carrington from Real Dudes Podcast, and with me I have some fantastic co-hosts. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
This is Andrew coming to you from Lynchburg, Ohio.
This is Cody coming from you also from Ohio.
And this is Kyle coming to you straight from the armpits of West Virginia. We are an indie gaming podcast. We all share a love for games. And you can check out our show on Podbean. Just search for Real Dudes Podcast. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, really any of the podcasting outlets that you like to use. Again, that is Real Dudes Podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you love video games, you will love our show.
What's up, everybody? I'm Tyler.
I'm Lucas. And I'm Chris.
And we're better than Static. We meet up once a week and talk about movies, comics, and video games.
I don't want to talk about that.
Why are you complaining about all the topics I bring up? I'm trying to sound professional, Chris.
But we're not that good.
We are too good.
We may not be great, but we are better than Static.
You guys can hit up iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and YouTube to check us out.
Remember that feeling of playing an ultra-hard video game and dying? Over and over and over? Ah! Yeah, so do we. Listen to the Controller Throwers podcast on iTunes and Google Play. And check out the live show every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time at twitch.tv/TCThrowers. The Controller Throwers. Pressing start since 1985.
If you like video games, debates, and silly banter, you'll love GamerHeads podcast.
Outside of your store, because I do feel like your store knows its identity. I do. I think that you guys know what you are. No?
Not always.
Really?
He sells fidget spinners.
Well,
not anymore.
I mean, for a while.
Not
anymore.
You're experimenting with
anymore. That's what I'm saying, though. You were just experimenting.
Golf was made by a Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go Iwata.
Yeah.
The game.
Yeah, not the sport.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, huh.
Well, speaking of Nintendo.
Follow GamerHeads on Podbean at gamerheadspodcast.podbean.com.
And we are back with Crossplay Compatible. And we are here talking about a game that is near and dear to all of us, especially Roger, because he lived it. That is Paperboy, because it released in the year we were talking about, 1985. Guys, what are your fondest memories about good old Paperboy?
I hate this game.
Wow. This classic?
It is a classic.
I hate this game too.
Yeah, it was frustrating. It was a tough game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super hard.
I mean, I mainly played it on the NES.
Yep.
And I don't know. I can't remember. I think I got about maybe 5 stages in, and then just things got to. It was always the curb, trying to get the driveway or the curb, and just the collision detection there. It's like, come on, I'm trying to, I'm riding a bike here. It's not that hard. But but again, I kept coming back to it.
Yeah. And did you guys ever play the arcade of this?
No.
I never did. Yes. And I probably would have liked that one a lot better because I played it mostly NES and a little bit of Game Boy.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. So I played the arcade. I played the arcade, which actually I'm very lucky to have a major arcade within a half an hour drive from me. Nice. And so they had the original Paperboy with, it's not a joystick, it's bike handles that you used to steer.
Yeah. How did that work? Did that work well, or was it kind of crappy?
No, it worked out. It worked really well. I still crashed into the curb and everything. So, but yeah, it worked out just fine, and it was a lot of fun to play.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember the first time I played it. It was definitely the NES version, and I remember thinking, man, this is the coolest game ever. And I would always try and play it. I was playing it all the time, whenever I could get my hands on it. But I haven't played it since I was a little kid.
Oh, you haven't? I just played it today, actually.
As a refresher?
As a refresher, yeah.
And?
It's bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's good for. I mean, even I think it plays okay even today, but it's just so hard. I made it to the third day, and I'm like, this sucks.
That's what I thought. I thought it was the game, but maybe it's just user error.
I'm just not a big fan of those old arcade style, go through the same level over and over, and they just keep making it incrementally harder and harder kind of games.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I only played it on the NES as well. But I didn't know this when I was looking this up. I didn't realize that Paperboy was the very first NES game developed in the United States for the NES.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Why couldn't they pick something better?
Yeah, it's not a very good first attempt.
And then the Sega Master System also got a version of this game, and they are different. Both games are a little bit different. The NES version is the one that I'm used to, and the one I'm used to seeing in the arcade as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the Sega Master System, the graphics were updated, and I mean it still was the same game, but it had better graphics actually.
And that's something that kind of happened for Sega stuff all over the place anyway.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I didn't realize how popular this game was, though. I got this book. I bought a Super Nintendo Classic, and then I got the Super Nintendo book that Nintendo came out with that talked about the Super Nintendo and the specs and everything. And when that system came out, they had a question and answer for the Super Nintendo, and one of them was, will games like Paperboy be available on Super Nintendo? and they said, yes, we will be making games like Paperboy and The Simpsons and Castlevania. Those 3 games were were specifically named that they'll be making for the Super Nintendo. And I'm like, The Simpsons? Paperboy.
Well,
Castlevania I understand, but really those other two?
They did make a couple Simpsons games for Super Nintendo.
They were good.
Yeah.
Krusty's Super Funhouse. That was a good game. That was kind of like Lemmings. Bart's. I vaguely remember Bart's Nightmare.
Yes.
I think that was a good game. I like that one.
Yeah. Did you guys ever beat this game? I never beat this game.
No,
not at all.
Not even close.
I'm not even going to pretend that I got anywhere close.
Nope, me either. I'm not going to be that guy.
The thing that I thought was kind of interesting about the Paperboy game was the fact that they had, like, you had subscribers and non-subscribers, right? So, like, if you did a crappy job, like, people stopped getting your newspapers from you.
Yeah,
It's kind of a unique perspective or unique mechanic in the game.
See, that was the thing that always bothered me the most. Like, I could never pick up visually which house I was supposed to throw the papers at. And, like, I know they showed you the map and you're supposed to remember which houses there were, but I want to have something on the screen showing me that I'm supposed to give them a paper or not. It's just something that I could never figure out.
Was it the color? I thought that were the blue houses the ones you had to do. I don't know. I played it for like a year and a half before I realized I'm not supposed to throw newspapers at every single house.
I mean, it might be something simple like that, but by the time I would have been able to figure it out, I was done with the game anyway.
Yeah. It is interesting because I think I had that problem when I was a kid, but playing it as an adult now, I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. And I will say the Sega Master System, I should say, had a better, I guess, visual for it because there was actually like a doormat that said like Sun newspaper or whatever because you're delivering the Daily Sun. So I guess like the idea was, hey, you got to put your newspaper in the mailbox or on the mat that said the Sun newspaper. So
yeah. I would always crack up when I would smash their window.
Yeah.
The kid's got a hell of an arm.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And then this game came out with a sequel to it too. Did you guys ever play the sequel?
I didn't. I had no idea there was a sequel. I'm watching gameplay of it right now. It's interesting. I didn't know there was a Paperboy 2.
This game was so popular, apparently. Yeah, that they came up with a sequel. And in the sequel, like, you could do different things. Like, somebody was robbing a house, so you could, like, take the robber out with your newspaper. Or somebody was, like, fight. There was, like, two people fighting, and you could, like, hit one of the newspaper, and the other person would be like, yeah, you beat up the other guy. What is going on? It was so weird. And then those things would happen. Like, the next issue of the paper, if you made it past that first day, would say something like Paperboy saves like the house from thieves or something. If you did that.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Such a weird game.
I'm surprised, as popular as this series was back in the day, that we haven't seen too many the continuation of the series. Like, say, like Mario, for example, came out that year. And we have plenty of Marios, obviously, since then, but we've only had really 2 Paperboys and ports all the way up until I'm showing here. The Xbox 360 was the last thing to get a port, but you can't even get it anymore.
No.
But they did have a version for the 64.
That's right.
I didn't know that either, and I've never played it.
Oh, I haven't either. I've just seen it out places.
So when I was in college, I bought using my hard-earned money from Taco Bell. I was able to purchase a Game Boy Color for my wife for her birthday, and the game, and that's why I was like rummaging around through my bin, and the game that I bought with the Game Boy Color was Paperboy. So just showing off my Paperboy collection. This is it. Just the one game for the Game Boy Color. So. Nice. Yeah, my wife, she was always a huge Paperboy fan, so I would steal it, her Game Boy Color, because I still just had the Game Boy, but I had to get her the Game Boy Color, so I would steal it. I'm going to borrow this for a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that. I mean, it seems like Paperboy was one of those games that everybody was like, "Oh yeah, I played," and it was such a popular game, but nobody really liked it. Like everybody I've talked to have said, "I never really liked it," and even today, like I'll sit down and I'm like, "Oh, Paperboy!" Like even today, when I was thinking about how we're going to talk about this game, I'm like, Paperboy, I'm going to play it, and I played it for all of like 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I remember I hate this game.
I have actively not bought this game out of the flea market.
But you have seen it, though.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Like, I've been walking around with one of my friends, and he bought it. Like, I would have it in my hand and pass it over to him because I just didn't want it.
Wow.
I'm looking up footage of Paperboy 64. It's not good. Oh, gosh, it's not good.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. I would not think so.
It looks like a 3D remake of Paperboy 2. So you have like the people fighting and the dudes robbing places and stuff, but it's not good. Oh, it's not good.
It's weird though, but generally speaking, it's gotten good reviews-ish, I guess. It like one rating gave it 88% rating.
See, I would give it that. Thinking back as, kid self, experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, controlling for when it came out and everything, it's not bad. It's just not the kind of game I would really get into.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot. Relic.
Yeah. Wait, what are you saying, Carrington?
That this game, if you look for a gamer nowadays and they say, hey, have you ever played Paperboy? They probably have never even heard of it.
Wait, I just want to make sure. Did you say that it's a relic?
Yes.
Are you saying that I belong in a museum, Carrington?
No. Nothing like that. It's just... I'm going to shut up now.
Oh, that's funny. Paperboy did make a cameo in Wreck-It Ralph.
A movie I have yet to see.
You need to go fix that. Like right
I know.
now.
Yeah, especially before November.
Oh, yeah. I don't trust me. I will.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Carrington, you have to see that movie.
And and if you keep an eagle eye out, Paperboy also makes a cameo in Pixels, the amazing Adam Sandler movie. That's
I can proudly say that I have never seen that one.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you're all good. You're not missing anything.
I watched that in
If
theaters.
I can catch it on Netflix, I might watch it just because it's on Netflix.
I think it was
so
on
who
Netflix
cares?
at one time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still is, but it was on Netflix at one time.
Yeah.
Still not worth it.
Do any of y'all remember the show Nick Arcade?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Paperboy 2 was on there.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We just interviewed the host, Phil Moore, on our
I
show.
should have asked him about it.
I should have. Oh, didn't even think. I think we talked about Sonic 2 because Sonic 2, the prototype was on Nick Arcade, but Star Fox was not. And what happened? Star Fox 2 never came out. Coincidence?
That's crazy. So I just one of the other thing I wanted to bring up about this was just how many different ports there was of this game. So it was ported to, I don't even know some of this stuff. Like, what is this? This BBC Micro and Acorn Electron? I don't even know what that is.
They're crappy old computers.
Oh, okay. The Commodore 64, Commodore 16, Spectrum. I again haven't heard of that. Apple II, the MS-DOS, Apple II GS, NES, like we mentioned, Game Boy Color, Atari, Amiga, Atari Lynxus, Sega Master System, Game Gear, and the Sega Mega Drive Genesis. Isn't that crazy how many different ports this game had?
Hey, this game was popular.
Yeah. Not to mention all the compilations that it appeared on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like Midway Arcade Treasures is actually on Lego Dimensions.
Yep.
A mobile version.
Yeah, a mobile version in 2005. That's crazy. Yeah, and then and like Carrington, like you said, it was on Xbox Live for a while, but now it's been removed. So
breaks my heart.
Somebody obviously still likes this game. I just don't know who that is.
We got to find that one person.
It's not the kids nowadays, that's for sure.
Carrington, you got to interview these people that made this game.
I'm working on it. I'm not working on it. We gotta get Katie on it.
Yeah,
who does all
there we go.
The older games.
She's got those connections.
Yeah. She can hook us up.
So, anybody else have anything else about this game at all?
Not really.
Despite none of us really liking it, anybody listening should go play it.
You have to at least experience it.
Yeah, like it's not super horrible. It's just not modern at all.
Yeah,
you'll get bored of it after about 10 minutes, if that. The only other thing is, have you ever watched any of the videos by Mega 64?
Yes.
No.
So Mega 64, they're kind of like they do a lot of like parody videos. And it's funny. It's silly and it's wacky. They do like hidden camera videos to get to see just regular people's reactions to their video game related stunts. So what they did was they did an episode based on Paperboy where they set up cameras like on the street lamps and stuff like that. So at like 5 a.m, it's still dark out, and the guy is coming down the street on his pickup truck, throwing the newspapers out on people's porches. And all the Mega 64 people were dressed up as different enemies from the game, and they would just run out into the streets and just mess with them. Like there was a guy breakdancing in the streets, and and a person dressed like an old lady with the rolling pin. It's just the look on the guy's face, like what the heck is going on here? So if you got nothing better to do on YouTube, just look up Mega 64 Paperboy. You'll get a kick out of it.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that wraps up the show. Why don't we go around though before we end this call, or before we end the show, call for us. Why don't we go around and tell people how they can get a hold of us, and then we should also talk about what's happening later on this month as well.
It's a good idea.
So Mike, you wanna?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go first. So feel free to check us out. We're the Controller Throwers Podcast. We talk, of course, about all things video game related. We air every Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. You can also find us on iTunes and Google Play. Just search for the Controller Throwers. Thank you very much.
Nice.
I'm Chris. You can find me over at playcomics.com, where I look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. Where you can find me over all your favorite podcatchers and stuff, or on Twitter at PlayComicsCast.
Nice.
And I'm Carrington with Real Dudes Podcast. We talk about independent games. We talk about mostly independent games. Our next episode, we focus on Old Man's Journey and Membrane. So keep an eye out. And we've got some big stuff coming up.
Nice. And I am Roger. One of the hosts on the GamerHeads podcast, where we typically debate hot topics in the gaming industry. You can check us out on Podbean at gamerheadspodcast.podbean.com, or on iTunes as well. And you can also find us on Twitter at GamerHeadsPC. All right. Thanks, everybody. This is a lot of fun. Oh, one last thing. We should talk about what we're doing then at the end of the month.
Absolutely. So March 24th. So as we all know, at the end of the month on March 29th, or is it the 30th? I should have had the calendar open.
I know it's a Saturday.
March 30th. So March 30th is a movie a long time in the making, Ready Player One, which has a lot, and I mean a lot, of references to video games, references to the 1980s. It's definitely a gamer's dream movie, because there's so many cameos from so many different video game characters. Even in the previews alone, we've seen just countless amounts of characters. So to celebrate that game coming out on March 24th, all the podcasts that are a member of Crossplay Compatible, we're going to be hosting a stream, a Ready Player One streamathon. So we're all going to be playing different games that are featured in the movie, different games that were featured in the book. We'll be celebrating and getting ready for that movie to come out. So feel free to check us out. We'll be talking to you all day.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Looking forward to it.
And then also, we'll have to look and see when we'll have this air on a regular basis. Probably, I don't know, Thursday nights probably, but Monday nights on our Twitch channel, Crossplay Compatible, we will have all of us, anybody that's available, I should say, get together and talk about what we'll be discussing on each perspective's podcast, and I'm talking about what we got coming up for the week. So
sounds good.
So
I'm excited.
Me too.
So follow us. So follow us there. All right. Thanks everybody for.
I have 2 interviews coming up this week. What are they? Find out tomorrow.
Oh man, Carrington, you're just dangling that out there, aren't you?
Yep.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and for Chris, Mike, Carrington, and myself, Crossplay Compatible out.